Yo, welcome to a breaking news edition of the Orangebloods Texas Football Channel. Red Oak safety, four-star safety, Warren Roberson announcing, I don't know, like 2 minutes ago that he is signed, sealed, and delivered for the University of Texas. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That is Jason Sukamel. Do us a solid. It's a commitment, or actually a signing breaking news video. Hit that thumbs up button, smash that bad boy, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Maybe tell a friend or two. Mr. Sukamel, the Longhorns add another four-star high school safety to the mix from this 2023 recruiting class that was already ranked the number 3 recruiting class in the country behind Alabama and Georgia. In landing Warren Roberson, they probably get the second best safety prospect in the state behind Peyton Bowen. I mean, there might be a fairly big gap between where both players are rated, but anytime you're getting a high-level Texas high school defensive back prospect, you're probably getting a pretty good player, and I think that is what we would all agree that Warren Roberson is.
Yeah, nice pickup for Texas. This is a guy that the staff wanted early. It seems like forever ago, right? But early in the 2023 recruiting cycle, and frankly, they lost out on him to TCU. Things kind of went crazy with TCU in the end there, and here we are, almost a week after National Signing Day 2, and he
details.
Yeah, so finally we've got some resolution to this one. But, USC was heavily involved there. Arizona State tried to make a play there late and made it interesting. And really good football player. If you watch his film, I just watched it a little bit ago while we were waiting for his formal announcement. But, his first play, I think it's a touchdown reception. And watch his huddle film if you haven't. People, like, he has literally the best spike of a football. Rob Gronkowski would be jealous of this spike on his first touchdown reception. But it's special teams plays, it's defense, it's offense as a receiver, as a running back, it's covering kicks, returning kicks, blocking kicks off the edge. So just a good football player that can do a little bit of everything. I talked to his coach at Red Oak a couple weeks ago, and he said the same thing. He goes, man, he can play nickel. He can play any of the safety positions. He can play either the cornerback position. So really good football player for Texas, really good pickup, kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. I mean, he'll play on the defensive backfield for Texas, but I know, Ketch, you've talked about it too. I could see him being an early impact guy on special teams as well.
I think the special teams, I don't want to say it's the thing that impressed me the most, but it's the thing that separates him from, I think, a lot of other guys, is that he has a propensity in all areas of special teams of making plays. And it's not, it's probably the pathway for him to get on the field right away in his Texas career. Obviously not a spring enrollee. He's not an early guy. He'll be showing up in the summertime. For those that don't know anything about Warren Roberson, again, Red Oak High School in the Metroplex area, 6 foot, 180 pounds. From a ranking standpoint, every single service has him ranked as a low 4-star prospect. And then it comes down to where in the state you have him ranked. I have him number 31 in my final Lone Star recruiting rankings, which came out a couple of weeks ago. Rivals has him at number 59. ESPN has him at number 68. 24/7 has him at number 55. On3 has him the highest at number 29. But ultimately, everybody has him ranked in the same ballpark. The guy that he reminds me of the most, I thought about this a lot because I'm having a hard time thinking of former Texas players that is an apple for apple, where it's just that's who he is. He's got a little bit of Aaron Williams in him, even a little bit of a Nathan Vasher, like poor man's Aaron Williams, poor man's Nathan Vasher. The guy that I settled on in my comparison in my instant analysis article over on the website, there's a lot of Adrian Phillips and Warren Roberson. And when you think about the career that Phillips has had at the NFL level, where he's become a Pro Bowl player as a special teams player for the Patriots, I think 2 years ago, but an incredibly valuable player on the NFL level. For all of the things that Warren Roberson does at the high school level, this is a guy that's going to find a way to get on the field at Texas one way or the other. His versatility is easily his biggest strength.
Yeah, good comparison. When you mentioned those, the first two guys, I don't know if he's athletically in their category. And
Exactly.
listen, Adrian Phillips is obviously a fine, very fine football player, a Pro Bowl football player, maybe as good or a better NFL player, right, than in college. But yeah, I can see some similarities, like you said. I mean, a guy that can do a little bit of everything in special teams, and I mean, he's not coming to Texas to be a special teams player. Let's be clear. This is a guy, and his coaches think he can be an early contributor in the defensive backfield. I mean, 6 foot, 180 is what we have him listed at in the Rivals database. So, he's not a jumbo safety, but he's a big guy that can play at cornerback with good size. He can play at safety, be physical. You see it in his film. He comes downhill, makes tackles, really has a good nose for the football, breaks down well, makes tackles in space. Just again, I mean, I don't know when I say Warren Roberson that I say, okay, he has this one trait that's absolutely elite. It's 5-star level, but he's really good at a lot of different things. I used to say the same thing about Jonathan Brooks, the running back at Texas. It's like, there's nothing about him that I would say, okay, he's not Reggie Bush quick, and he's maybe not, doesn't run with the power of whoever, but I was like, there's not really any weakness in his game, and he does everything pretty well. That's kind of how I feel about Warren Roberson on the defensive side of the ball. Just a really good, in special teams, a really good football player with no real weaknesses, brings a lot to the table.
I think the one skill for me, well, look, his top skill for me is special teams. I mean, he might be actually elite of the elite in terms of he just has a nose for the football, and it's one thing to get down the field fast in coverage units, and it's another to be able to make plays once you get down there really fast. I mean, he just has a special talent for that. But on the defensive side of the ball, I think the thing that stands out to me the most, and look, this is a guy that can play corner, he can play nickel, he can probably play almost every position in the secondary. He's got really good, clean cover skills. I mean, he's in and out of his back pedal really naturally. I mean, he does a little bit of everything really well. But I think the thing that stands out to me the most on the defensive side of the ball, he can play sideline to sideline from the safety position as an aggressive ball hawking player, but also in run support. I mean, he's just everywhere. That ability to cover the entire field, for me, if I was looking at him as a safety, is the thing that I like the most. But it's impossible to get away from the jack of all trades kind of description that you had him at, because I think he could play wide receiver at the major college level as well. So
yeah, I saw his film in his film. I think he had 6 receiving touchdowns, 3 touchdowns on returns in special teams returns. He had a defensive touchdown. So I mean, you're right. The guy finds it. You put him out there, he finds the end zone in any way possible. Yeah.
Probably comes down to where a lot of these guys that are true athletes as prospects kind of comes down to where you need him the most. Yeah. Some schools, I think he's such a good receiver. If he had the attitude of, I like catching footballs, I like scoring touchdowns, that's the position I want to play, I think there would be a lot of schools that would be very attracted to that skill set. He's at his best on the defensive side of the ball. And, look, he's not a guy that's going to come in my opinion, and compete for first team reps in his freshman season. He's coming in a little late. He's a younger player. Texas has players coming back at that position. Plus, they just added Jalen Catalon through the transfer portal in this class as well. But I do think by year 2 or 3, we're talking about a guy that could very easily be competing for first team safety snaps. I mean, his upside is he has the ability to be a 2 or 3 year starter as a safety for the Texas Longhorns if it all comes together. And, the one thing you would say about Texas is they're recruiting at a really high level. So he'll be one of these guys that's competing with a lot of other really talented guys in the future. I think to be ultimately a Jalen Catalon replacement or a Jaron Thompson replacement, as Texas in the next couple of years is looking to replace the top guys at the safety board right now, Roberson is almost certainly going to be in that mix.
Yeah, they bring in Derek Williams this year, who's more highly regarded in terms of rankings and things like that. Like, Jelani McDonald's probably going to be a nickel guy. Texas like him there. He's going to have to earn it. I mean, Texas is bringing in some good talent in this class, and they're already recruiting some top 2024 talent. But you can certainly see, like you said, I don't think he comes in. I think it's probably asking a little much, biting off a little more than he can chew. If you're expecting him to come in and be a contributor on defense in year one, now maybe on special teams, like you said, Catch, but yeah, year 2, year 3, as some of those guys, that you mentioned are departing the program, I mean, they're going to need some bodies to fill in, or some guys to fill in, and I would expect he'll be in that competition, in that kind of 2 deep range. I mean, he's going to have to earn it and beat some guys out, but like I said, a really good player. I mean, schools like USC fought till the bitter end. I mean, TCU really wanted to hang on to him. I think TCU knew that it probably wasn't going to happen based on what I was told when he didn't sign with them in December, but they really fought until the end. SMU, Arizona State, but USC was a big factor here as well. I thought it was funny. It was just kind of not related to his play on the field, but he shows up at his announcement today. We're in a full-on TCU jacket. And it was buttoned up like this, Cat. So you knew he had something going on underneath that jacket. But it was like, Warren is a guy like, I've never talked to him, dude. Believe me, I've texted him, I've DM'd him. And, I know a couple of coaches on his staff, so I'm able to get bits of information here and there. And I talked to his head coach. But this is a guy who never talks to any media. He's just all about business. And I asked his coach about that. He goes, yeah, he doesn't really like that kind of stuff. Yet here we are a week after signing day, and like, he never talks on one hand, but yet, man, he really wanted his moment in the sun, and shows up wearing his TCU jacket buttoned all the way up. But just a guy that's according to his coach, kind of, he's got a little bit of silly attitude in the locker room, but a no nonsense guy, puts in the work. Other players kind of follow him because he leads by example. So, to get back to your original point, yeah, I would expect he's the type that's going to put in the work, and he will be in the mix. And Texas is going to need guys like him to kind of fill out some of these spots as some of these older players depart the program.
My dog is a big fan, apparently.
I thought I didn't know if that was yours or someone outside.
Yeah, that's Harper letting us know that Warren Roberson is her favorite player in this recruiting class. Look, we've got more coming on the Orangebloods Texas Football Channel later today. The modcast is about an hour and 40 minutes away from now. So do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed this instant analysis breaking news video of Warren Roberson's commitment to Texas. He's already signed for the Longhorns. So this one's wrapped up and ready to go. There's nothing to worry about. For Jason Sucamel and myself, you guys have a great morning. We'll see you in like 100 minutes. Until then,